significant piece of English vernacular poetry comes in the form of a short quatrain from roughly the year 1240. This appears in Middle English. Notably, this is a four-line short poem written in Middle English, just scribbled into the middle of, let's say, a fairly learned treatise in Latin on theology, written by Edmund of Abington, who was Archbishop of Canterbury at the time. The actual authorship of the poem is unknown, but it is a curious little lyric, and the fact that it is in a very early form of English is fairly significant. Now goeth sun under wood, me rueth Mary thy fair rood. Now goeth sun under tree, me rueth Mary thy son and thee. Now, obviously, the old English of it gets brushed up by modern editors. There are some archaisms going on there, but it's really fairly easy to read. You don't have to be that. You're not reading old English here. This is a relatively readable form, and it's not that long before Chaucer, so it's recognizable. Now, the symbolism here is also kind of interesting. Familiar imagery of the rood, which is the cross, is recognizable from Song of the Rood, but there's also a great deal of theological wrestling going on here, I would say. Now goeth sun under wood. Now, that can be the wood of a forest, in which case the sun is setting. So this is the end of the day. And this is this poem is sometimes titled Calvary. So, okay, it's the end of the day of Christ's execution. Me rueth Mary, thy fair rood. The rood, of course, is the cross. This is regretting Mary's experience of the cross. This is a poem, an expression of empathy for the Virgin Mary, which highlights, curiously, her position in this story instead of Christ on the cross. Here, it's a mother watching her child die, and it's an expression of not religious, devotion necessarily to the Christ figure, but one of very human compassion for this mother. Now goeth sun under tree. Here, the tree is another symbol of the cross. Me rueth Mary, thy son and thee. So that pairing at the end of thy son and thee. Now, Mary gets named specifically. Jesus Christ does not. So the focus is very much on her, on the fully human mother, which is a early expression, you could say, of humanism in England. This is mid-13th century. It is before the Renaissance is kicking in. So humanism is a relatively unknown quantity, especially, I would say, in Britain. But the expression of it here, I would say, is notable from a theological standpoint. The focus on Mary specifically, the focus on her humanity specifically. There's some interest there, but also those same points expressing a kind of human context, because of course emphasizing Mary's humanity also implies that, well, all right, Christ was perhaps also, a biracial child in a way. He was human. He was a man. And this is taking a stand on this debate of the divinity of Christ. And I'm not going to wade into that, certainly, but in this cute little poem, 4 lines rhyming, fairly simple, I would say, symbolism going on here, nothing all that complicated. But the resonance of this material makes it memorable. This is a curious linguistic anomaly. The author could very clearly read at least Latin. It is found in this very heavy Latin theological treatise, the Speculum Ecclesiae. But whoever wrote this in, or whoever crafted this, while probably knowing Latin, chose to do it in English, chose to do it in a vernacular language, a human, approachable language. Uh, not that normal human beings would be skipping through heavy Latin treatises on a regular basis, but it is an expression of that surging phenomenon of vernacular literature in Europe and the British Isles in the late Middle Ages.